Okay, so as we also at this year's 2025 Super Bowl, we saw Kendrick Lamar perform at the halftime show. And to say that it was controversial, I didn't think that was going to be controversial. Even after seeing the performance, I didn't think it was going to be controversial at all. But this Kendrick Lamar performance and show actually went on to become more controversial than you would think. But right now on YouTube, it's sitting at 29 million views, as has been uploaded about a day ago, and we see Kendrick performing here in the thumbnail. And when the halftime show was taking place, we had people like Aiden Ross over here on his second account saying that this Kendrick halftime show is the worst I've ever seen. And after the performance was done, Aiden had also made another post saying that Drake revived Kendrick Lamar's career. Now, with the first post here from Aiden, where he has said that the Kendrick halftime show was the worst that he had ever seen, Mike Malek, who was at the event himself, said that it's crickets at the stadium, and went on to post this video here saying, "Kinda snoozy. I know Drake happy right now." So Mike posted that, and actually I've been seeing this video being posted like by multiple pages and stuff. So if you ever seen like the POV from this way over here where it's recording like this, it was from Mike Malek here. But then we also had other creators criticizing the halftime show here with Nate Shot saying that Lil Wayne deserved the halftime show in New Orleans. Entire performance was dry. Can't tell me without SZA and the Drake beef that anyone would be gassing this. Dead ass, beyond boring. So a pretty hot take here by Nate Shot. And let me just throw on this picture here. For no reason, but Nate Shot was criticizing Kendrick here. And also, while I say that, let me just show you this other picture here of Aiden Ross, again, for no particular reason. But yeah, going to this Nate Shot post here again, he said this, and this guy over here, the Baba Yaga, responded to Nate Shot's post here saying, "Just say you don't know rap." And Nate Shot to that quote replied to the Baba Yaga here, saying that he's not watching the Super Bowl halftime show to appreciate real rap. I just want a performance. Go watch Prince rip Purple Rain in the 2007 halftime show on YouTube and come back here. The level of entertainment and energy start to finish doesn't even compare. We went backwards. Okay, so here I will say this. I know I was kind of like doing like a little dig whenever I showed the picture of Nate Shot with Drake. But yeah, Nate Shot does have a point here that, okay, well, first, before I go on to the rest of the video, I'll say this. I'm a fan of Kendrick. I'm a fan of Drake. I like both of them equally. They're both legends in their own rights. As for the halftime show this year with Kendrick on it, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I kind of would have wished that he put more of his, like, more iconic songs from his previous works, like from Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly. He could have put more tracks from there, as opposed to just like putting a bunch from GNX and from the Damn album, even though they're both great albums, don't get me wrong, but he could have put like more bangers from previous years and kind of add on to the hype to the show. But what Kendrick did with this year's Super Bowl, I don't think he was necessarily going for a full-on hype performance. He kind of like wanted more to send like a message type of thing, because like there's a bunch of metaphors that you can make out of the performance that he did, like, with the flags, the messaging, the things that he was saying, and all that stuff. There's a bunch of Easter egg videos out there, a bunch of, oh, this is what this meant, this is what that meant. There's a bunch of those videos out there. I'm sure y'all know what I mean. But yeah, there was a ton of like metaphorical things going on in that show. But I definitely do see what Nate Shot means here by he wanted a performance, but this year was just a little bit different. But me myself, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's a plus for me, but I do see why like the general public were not fans of it, and also because like a bunch of the tracks that were in that set list for this year's Super Bowl with Kendrick, it was from GNX, an album that has only come out like about 3 months ago. Not even 3 months ago. It came out in November 22, 2024, and it hasn't even been 3 months. But me being a Kendrick fan, like I was a fan of all of those tracks, and I knew them all, the ones that were released. But that's what I mean. Like, I can see why, like, someone in the general public might not have been familiar and or fans of the performance. But yeah, Nate Shot said that here. And Sneeko was another person that wasn't a fan of the Super Bowl halftime show. But Sneeko's reasoning was a little bit different. It was not so more in defense of Drake or even, like, fully going at the performance itself. Sneeko talks about the culture aspect of it and how people were reacting.
I'm very glad we don't need to pretend anymore. Drake is better than Kendrick Lamar. I'm like you, I don't give a shit about football, but I watched the halftime show to see the cultural shift happen. The only lyrics the crowd knew out of all of Kendrick's discography was A minor. But when he did the Wakanda Forever performance, everybody fell asleep. People have never been more tired of the inauthenticity. 10 years ago, a Super Bowl halftime show with George Floyd vibes would have received a standing ovation because people didn't know what white guilt was yet. But in today's America, nobody wants to see a performance that's equivalent to a BLM protest. They want to dance.
So that's what Zico had to say for that side of the spectrum. Now we're going on to the pretty much like the complete opposite end of the, I don't know about political spectrum, but the cultural spectrum. And we had Pokimane speak on the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show situation. So here we got a clip from Fearbug where it says, Pokimane speaks on people saying Kendrick Lamar didn't deserve to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. Only white people hated it. I didn't want to say it. The only people I saw with this take were white men.
With probably zero musical capabilities think that Kendrick Lamar didn't deserve the halftime show. What? What do you mean? Like, sure, we could sit here all day and be like, oh, I actually think this artist deserved it. Only white people hated it. I didn't want to say it. As a white passing person, I didn't want to say that. But you saying that and me repeating that message, I'm just gonna let that sit. You know what pissed me off the most, respectfully, too? The people that I saw with this take the most were white men. Ain't nothing wrong with being a white man. That's not the point. My point is that, you know, I feel like if you watched his performance and really took it in, you'd be like, there are some underlying messages that the performance is trying to convey, especially during Black History Month. So you sitting there, again, respectfully, whatever, being like, oh, I don't think he deserved it. It's just like, stop, please.
Okay, so that's basically what she had to say. I didn't want it to cut into anything to kind of like ruin the flow of what was being said, because we had another streamer react to it, and we'll get into it. But she did say some things that I would like to speak on a bit.
Like, sure, we could sit here all day and be like, oh, I actually think this artist deserved it.
Okay, with that point, I don't know like who she's referring to, because a bunch of people were saying that Lil Wayne should have had it because he's a New Orleans native, from New Orleans. And I definitely do see why people would say that Lil Wayne should have had it. Bro's iconic, from New Orleans. But then again, it's like, it's 2025. 2024 was the year of Kendrick popping off. So when else are we going to get Kendrick to perform in his prime? Because he's in his prime right now. So this is a solid chance to take Kendrick. But for the people that are saying, no, it should have been Lil Wayne, I can see what they mean. But yeah, in a way, I don't agree. Pokimane was kind of roasting them. Now, if they're saying like, oh, it should have been my favorite country artist, or it should have been this other artist out there that is not Lil Wayne, it should have been this other artist, it should have been this pop artist, it should have been this country artist, it should have been this metal artist, it should have been this emo gothic musical artist, that I don't agree with. The only one I can see myself agreeing with, possibly agreeing with, is the Lil Wayne one, because bro did kind of get BS'd out there. But hey, maybe next year they put Lil Wayne in. But no, yeah, I see the point that she made there. It's a fine point, just as long as it's not referencing the people that are saying that Lil Wayne should have been the one to do the Super Bowl halftime performance. But either way, like, I think Kendrick is like a solid choice. Either way, with Kendrick or Lil Wayne, either one was fine.
Only white people hated it. I didn't want to say it. As a
Okay, that only white people hated it. I did see people of different ethnicities. Actually, I don't know about hated it, but criticizing it for sure. People of different ethnicities criticizing it. I did see a bunch of, I mean, dude, I don't want to get political, but a bunch of the right wing and, to her point, white people hating it. Yeah, a bunch of the times when I did see like a white person criticizing, not even criticizing, hating on the Kendrick halftime show performance, I did get like a lot of sense of deep rooted, I mean, I don't want to throw the R word out there, racism. This guy here says DEI halftime show. This is what I mean by kind of like doesn't even give any reasoning. It's just like it's deep rooted in something, man. I don't think that all the people criticizing the show were white, but I mean, most of the people that were criticizing, and by that I just mean like they were like outright hating. They did have something more in common. But yeah, with that, like I agree with sort of what Pokimane is saying, but just not the full thing.
The people that I saw with this take the most were white men. Ain't nothing wrong with being a white man. That's not the point.
Okay, so now she's bringing in men into this All right, let me say this. I'm not a white guy. I know I look white complected and everything. I'm not a white guy. Let me just tell you that. So this isn't offending me. It couldn't even offend me because I'm not a white guy. But her bringing men into this, well, a majority of the viewers of football are men, so it kind of does make sense that a bunch of them were men. Now the white thing, yeah, we already talked about that.
I feel like if you watched his performance and really took it in, you'd be like, there are some underlying messages
Yes.
that the performance is trying to convey, especially during Black History Month.
Yes. Yes. It was like more for like the Black culture. That's what I loved about it, man. It's just like put the Black culture into the main stage of the halftime show. And that's like, it's just a beautiful thing to see. And it was just like a solid showing of it by Kendrick Lamar himself, who prides himself in being in the Black culture and the hip hop space. So that I agree with there for sure.
Please, arrête. Please arrête. And if you don't know what that means,
Doing the shush emote. That's my emote, bruh. But yeah, that's basically what she said there. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, I agree with it. Okay, but the interesting thing of that clip there being about Pokimane there, of her speaking on the Kendrick's thing, there's a little bit of history between Drake and Pokimane. Just online interaction type of thing, but still a little bit of history nonetheless. So Drake is a partner in Stake, which is like a online gambling platform. And Pokimane, she is not a fan of gambling, but Drake, he is sponsored by Stake. And, you know, with Stake being a gambling company, you just know that they're paying Drake like an insane amount of money. So Drake is partnered with them. And with that, when Pokimane had seen that Drake is partnered with Stake, ironically, there's a Stake logo here from this Academics TV account. Just ignore that. When she seen that Drake was partnered with Stake, it kind of like broke her heart because she's been a Drake fan for the longest. And here with this caption real quick, it says that Drake found out that Pokimane doesn't like him because of his Stake deal. So he responded in Los Pollos' chat. So Pokimane talks about Drake and how she's not like a fan of him as a person anymore. And Drake saw that. And in Los Pollos' chat on the Kick platform, Drake said, "I watched the clip. What's she mad about? What is it, the braids?" And these are the clips here of Pokimane talking about Drake.
When I heard Drake was involved with Stake, my heart broke. I'm gonna be honest. Because I've been a little Drake fangirl, you know, the Canadian blood running through my veins. And I still love his music, but now I don't love him as much as a person.
I used to be such a Drake fangirl.
Drake is f***ing sold out
Ever
to
since the
Stake.
Stake,
So you have a
like,
problem
you're
with all
showing
that?
your true colors.
I hate Drake.
Okay.
As a Canadian, we're disowning you.
So yeah, that's just a little bit of history between Pokimane and Drake that I wanted to add on here just real quick. And then also she had posted this when the Not Like Us track had dropped last year on May 4th. She said, trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor, saying that it had her jaw on the motherfucking ground. So she's just been public about not enjoying Drake and even praising Kendrick's Not Like Us track on him. Now, from one person in Pokimane being a fan of the halftime show performance by Kendrick, we then go on to XCC, where he wasn't a fan of it at all. And again, I'm just going to show this picture here for no apparent reason of XQC here, just chilling in his room. But XCC said here, in regards to the Kendrick Lamar halftime show performance, he said, "Well done, everyone. You've gaslit yourselves and everyone that people actually listen to this shit just to see someone else fall. It's unfortunate none of the Spotify bots attended the show, though. Looked pretty quiet this year." Clown emoji. So talking about how people weren't like jamming out at the Super Bowl attendance and dissing Kendrick overall. In regards to the Spotify bots talking, I really don't think that bots played into it. Kendrick doesn't need bots to hype up his numbers. He's not into that stuff. He's not into the numbers. He just drops music for the culture and for himself. He drops music and however it goes, it goes. He's not out here trying to get the biggest numbers out there. Spotify wouldn't allow that. Just doesn't make sense. But yeah, XCC says this on the morning after the Super Bowl at 5 a.m. Bro was molding at 5 in the morning. And then he came across the clip of Pokimane talking about the situation where he on the stream calls out Pokimane on Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show take. And he says, "Why do people use divisive language and divisive behavior to call out divisiveness? Explain to me how that makes any sense. Oh, dude, you didn't like this? That's because you're fucking white, dude. That's ridiculous. Like, bro, that's divisive." So XCC had that to say about it, and the clip here is 6 minutes long, so on stream I'm gonna watch the full thing, but on the video here we'll cut to some of the parts and see how this reaction goes.
The people that I saw with this take the most were white men. Ain't nothing wrong with being a white man. That's not the point. My point is that
white men that make the most of the demographic that watches fucking NFL throughout the season, throughout all this. Yeah, I get it. The Super Bowl is a little bit bigger than that, but it is a massive portion of the target audience of that show. So I think it's fair enough, but all good. Keep going.
Yeah, but she does. But I mean, that still holds true to a bunch of people that were hating on it. Oh, and hi, I'm up here because XCC thought it would be a nice idea to just randomly put himself down there. So I'm up here right now.
like if you watched his performance and really took it in, you'd be like, there are some underlying messages that the performance is trying to convey, especially.
What's the message? Guys, as some people say, what's the message? On Twitter, I agree. What's the message? Explain. If you make a point and without really any modicum of evidence, you jump to the conclusion that some criticism is unfair because of skin color, and then say, oh, another criticism, you don't understand it, and on top of that, it's Black History Month to be more accepting. I gotta be honest with you. That's not gonna fly. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't really matter what month it is, what year it is. I don't care what day of the week it is, okay? You cannot just say that, oh, dude, you should understand this more because it's Black History Month. Brother, it's a live performance. Like, bro, like, what are we saying here? You should understand, man, this pandering to the audience here is getting old. Brother, that is the richest thing that you can say in this current moment. That is so rich coming from you. You watch this video, which you would consider this to be textbook pandering, and you say that because I have a take that's different. Now I'm one pandering. What a ridiculous analysis of what we just watched. I don't, brother. Again, you can interlace messages and symbolism in music and performances, okay? But if you say, oh, you didn't like it, it's because you didn't understand. You were not meant to understand. This isn't some documentary or some puzzle that you're watching. The point of a halftime show isn't to give the world some puzzle to figure out and to guys, let me put down my beer and my peanuts. I'm at the bar right now. It's really fucking loud. Everybody's chanting some shit. Go Eagles. Go bumfucks. Oh shit. I'm gonna put down the beer and my peanuts. Put that aside. Let me try to work on this puzzle right now. What does he mean by this?
Okay, but even so with that, dude, like a couple of years ago, we had the halftime performance with Dr. Dre, Kendrick, and Snoop Dogg, that one Super Bowl halftime performance, if y'all remember. And it was a solid performance. It was so good. It was good. Like, got the people hyped up and everything. Bangers from everyone coming up in there. And people were still hating on it. And you could probably make a guess as to which people didn't like it. So even when there is like a good performance and people are hyped up and everything, people are still gonna hate it, which is fine. I mean, you can hate performances and stuff, but it's just like, to XCC's point, like, even when people do put performances where everything,'s hyped, people are still gonna hate on it. So, I mean, with Kendrick, okay, might as well put like a nice performance and then also a message with it. But I do see XCC's point there with doing like a puzzle and stuff. But I mean, bro, it's kind of like one of those things where like, it's not necessarily exactly for some people out there. But for those some people out there, if they want to go ahead and enjoy it or get closer to the level of the people that do enjoy it, I mean, kind of got to learn. But then again, it's like a type of thing of, I don't know, it's just a thing. It also comes down to, are you familiar with this person's discography? But yeah, anyway, this is to the point. Even if you hype up everything, people can still shit on it. And that's just bound to happen.
Hold on a minute. Another song came on. Another puzzle. Hold on. What does he mean? Now I say, dude, at the end of the show, I wasn't entertained. It's because you didn't understand. Okay, you're dumb as fuck. Shut up. Okay, you're fucking brain dead. Okay, if the whole thing is meant to be some form of double entendre hidden message, of course you're gonna miss the mark. But don't act like it's people's fault for missing the mark. Don't put the blame on the people that are watching why they didn't get it. That is a ridiculous thing to say.
That's fair, but it just doesn't do you any better if you, okay, sure, you could not like the Super Bowl halftime performance, but it doesn't do you any better to just go online and saying this shit sucked. Like, elaborate on it. Elaborate on the points, man.
Everybody says the message, the symbol. Brother, what is the message? Bro, why don't you just say, you're dumb? Why don't you explain to me what the message is? Please explain it. Divided America is the message. Not so I understand.
Okay, I'm gonna say some shit and people are gonna call me radical for this, okay? Why do people use divisive language and divisive behavior to call out divisiveness? Explain to me how that makes any sense. Oh, dude, you didn't like this? That's because you're fucking white. Dude, that's ridiculous. Like,
I don't think she ever said that it was because someone is white. She's just saying that the people that were hating on it just so happened to fall under a certain demographic.
bro, that's divisive. Like, how are you going to say we need to progress past being divisive? Here, let me show you what to do. I'm gonna divide us more, but more on our side. Bro, why don't you just lead by example? I don't understand it. How is that to do? If you know better, do better.
Because she's trying to bring up a
point. What a dumb take.
Well, yeah, I mean, her take, like I was saying, her take wasn't entirely correct or whatever. There's some faults in them. But, I mean, is she that wrong in a bunch of the stuff that she said? At XCC Malding over here again. But that's what XCC had to say there. Now, again, like I was saying earlier, not everybody that wasn't a fan of the show was white. As Plaqueboy Max here was at the stadium himself. And we got this caption here that said, Plaqueboy Max wanted to text Drake and tell him how bad Kendrick Lamar's performance was during the Super Bowl, crying emoji. Now, we're about to see Plaqueboy Max get into DMs with Drake here. Because, I mean, I don't necessarily want this to be like a full-on point, because this just has recently happened last month, but Drake has followed Plaqueboy Max on Instagram, so I just think it's kind of a little bit important to add this little bit of context here. But obviously here, Drake and Plaqueboy Max fuck with each other on that interaction level where they follow each other. But we have this clip here with Max at the Super Bowl.
Hurry up and play the song, bro. Hurry up.
It's on the gram. Hey, this performance as Big Bruh, you good? I don't know if he sent that, but he typed that out. And that was Plaqueboy Max's reaction there, right at the event himself. But Max got on his own stream later on and elaborated more on why he wasn't a fan of that performance there. Where here says that Plaqueboy Max thinks Kendrick Lamar's halftime show should have focused more of an actual performance instead of dissing Drake with Not Like Us. Which, that is actually like a fair point to it too. A fair argument that people were making was that the overall performance was with the teasing and stuff throughout the about 10-15 minutes that he was on there. It was teasing just like Not Like Us, so it's kind of making it having the performance be around Drake, which is a fair criticism to make, because Kendrick could have just gone and just done like all his normal songs, his greatest hits, and not even mention Drake at all. But, you know, if that happened, you know, way more people would be shitting on him for not even going through with doing Not Like Us at the Super Bowl halftime show. But yeah, Max here elaborates on it.
Kendrick, you're way bigger than this. I'm gonna keep it so a buck. This is the Super Bowl. What, he probably gonna do this one time? Bro, he way better than just a nigga who diss Drake. Honestly, he's way better than just a nigga who diss Drake. That should not be this nigga career. That should not be this, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? And I know niggas wanna see Drake fall. And I know niggas want, you know what I'm saying? It's a great moment, A minor, but like, bro, like this nigga didn't, no money trees, no, we gon' be alright, bro. This nigga play some classics, bro. Fuck, where you from, my nigga?
Fair
like, you know, bro,
that's
he
what I was saying.
Bro, none of that, bro. I don't know, bro. That's just me personally. That's just me. They Not Like Us, come on. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The stadium erupt. It erupted. You feel me? Niggas was singing that A minor shit like a bitch. They was. They was. But, yeah, the halftime song, that shit wasn't it to me. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I feel like he could have did his shit way better. And the wild shit I was gonna say was, I genuinely think Cardi halftime show would have been better. Now, granted, I listen to Cardi way more. But at the same time, bro, music about vibes, bro. Niggas was not vibing. I feel like Cardi could have had a vibe in that bitch.
Yeah, the vibes of Kendrick was more chill. It was more about like sending a message than to just like go all out, party it up. But if it's about vibes, then when the Not Like Us came up and you know, everyone was like vibing out to it, as he said, the stadium erupted. He was just like laying back and not doing anything. So, but maybe it's just because he had like a bad taste in his mouth with it just being about Drake in there at the end, and you know, Max and Drake fuck with each other. They're cool together. But yeah, that's what Max had to say there. But like I was saying, like, not everybody was hating on it. And we even got like some white folks like Fantano himself here, kind of bringing it back to the Pokemon points that were controversial of what was said. Fantano himself, he hyped up Kendrick here when he got on the stage, but we all know that Fantano is not the biggest fan of Drake. He even has like some beef with him, actual beef with Drake. But Fantano here hypes up Kendrick, and then even talks about the moment of when Kendrick smiled at the camera saying "Say Drake," with Fantano here saying staring down the lens during the Drake line was diabolical. And I made a couple of more posts about it saying, okay, gotta write a thread right now about how Kendrick took it way too far during the halftime show and why he needs to ease up on all the Drake hate. Let's begin. 1 out of question mark, points down. And here he says, nah, just kidding. OVO goons lose again. And I think he's like going to squash that owl there. Or maybe pick it up and send it somewhere else. I don't know, but we got these little emojis here.
Bro, I don't give a fuck. I went off. And fuck Pokemon too. Pokemon, fuck you. You're a fake, twisted bitch. You'd only come at the white people because guess what, Pokemon? You know that's what they're going to cater to and shit like that. You can't get canceled come at the white people. Why do you people have to bring race up? In general, why? Keep it to yourself, bitch. Holy fuck. No, chat, I'm gonna just say it for what it is.
But now in finishing off this video here, I want to show y'all 2 TikToks. This first one here is came out like after the like an hour or so after the Super Bowl had ended, and it was a pretty good one that talked about like the Easter eggs, the theories around the halftime show performance with Kendrick there, and what type of messages was being sent out. And it talks about like a Sony record label theory, which I haven't seen anyone else talk about, so I just wanted to show it here. And this is by Frack the Person.
Here are the Easter eggs you might have missed in Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl bonanza. The performance begins with Uncle Sam, Ewell L. Jackson, an actor known for playing roles that represent the man. We see Kendrick's set assembling the American flag, symbolizing that this very country was built by Black Americans. But think deeper. K-Dot did not spare the certified lawyer boy, Drizzy Drake. His chain was a lowercase a, or in other words, A minor. Serena Williams appeared to perform a local LA dance called the Crip Walk, a move she got in trouble for in her tennis career. But she is also Drake's ex-girlfriend. And where did she
so a lot of these like we kind of know.
Now the whole stage was shaped like a PlayStation controller. But why? Well, think deeper. PlayStation is owned by Sony, the same company that owns Drake's label. You know they love to sue, indeed. See, this beef all started when Drake and J. Cole proclaimed they were the big three, and big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. Well, here we are. Kendrick's final full circle cheat code. Game over.
So that was I just found that an interesting tidbit there. Because, well, I don't know if it's like fully necessarily true, kind of like what the points that he brought up, but it was just still like an interesting take. Because when you Google, does Sony own OVO? We get here, no, Sony does not own OVO Sound, but Sony does have a partnership with the label. So that kind of just makes you think a little bit more on this as to why this console was chosen. Sure, it's more popular than Xbox, than Nintendo, but I feel like there's more to it as to why a Sony console was picked here. And Frack the Person over here gives out a theory on it. But this last video here that we got is from QTES.official, where they just had this to say, and I think it's a proper point to bring up at the end of this video here.
I think the greatest part of Kendrick's entire performance was the aftermath. Having so many people, including like Tyler Cameron and Jason Tardik and Theo Von, come out and be like, this was the worst Super Bowl halftime show ever. It was so boring. It wasn't entertaining at all. Not only does it reveal like people's true characters, but to me, the entire point of his performance was to not entertain anyone. You were spectators on Kendrick's stage. All other halftime shows you would be singing along to, right? Because artists make sure that they're going to throw out all of their greatest hits so that you can sing along. Kendrick has so many hits that he could have thrown out as crowd pleasers. There's a reason why he chose Luther, Humble, DNA, All the Stars, Euphoria. He used his time to send a message and make history. And that to me is one of the greatest halftime performances I've ever seen, because it shifted the way we think about the halftime performance. He did what needed to be done. It was art, it was craft, and if you can leave that performance and have anything negative to say about it, I think that it's because you're intentionally ignoring the message that's being sent to you.
But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the show. I'm a Kendrick fan. I'm a Drake fan too, but I enjoyed the show. I see why people may not have enjoyed it, but to just like fully go out onto your accounts and just like fully dig in on it without elaborating, that's kind of like where it's kind of whack for someone to do. But hey man, everybody has an opinion. Just if you have those opinions, I think it would be great to see some elaborations on things, especially if you're hating on it.
I'm on one, you on one, got us, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Did it. Kendrick is such a good performer though. Kendrick is such a good performer. He goes hard. He could do any sort of incohesive dance with his confidence. He's pulling off.